So now that we've talked about customizing the home page, we're actually going to use a lot of the same functionality for creating a recipe page. If you weren't using that tutorial or something else, I'll try and cover our bases here. But if you're getting kind of confused on what needs to happen, it might be worth taking a look at that tutorial as well. I will start out by mentioning on the featured image on your post is required again to show images on your recipe page. So this is the functionality you'll want to use on any post that you create, or if you need to go back through and add this to other posts, you want to make sure you set a featured image for your post and update it so that it actually shows on your recipe page. Your recipe page is a widgetized area, which again means you'll be able to use your available widgets and add it to a recipe template. To create that template, we'll actually go into our WordPress dashboard and then add a page. Just click add new and title it whatever you want. Recipes is a pretty safe choice, and then choose recipe index. You actually won't be able to use this here in a second if I click publish. So you can enter in your other SEO settings if you want, but what this does now, it says if there is, when we go look at it, right now it'll look like a fairly normal page, but there's a code in here that says if there is something in the recipe widgets, display that instead of displaying a typical page. So I'll leave that up for right now, and then I'll go to our widget area, which again is under appearance and widgets, and then we'll use the recipe top and the recipe bottom. To set it up on the way that the demo was using it, we'll use those category finders that were up there before. I think the first one on there was category, so we'll add that. We'll give it a title. You might want to spell it right. Display as a drop down is probably what I would choose. Let's do archives. Let's slide that in here. By date is a kind of a standard one. Display, save that, and then search. Let's do a search, which there's a search widget right in here. We'll just drag that up and add it in here and title that search. So now if we go back to our page, and we refresh, we should have, there we go, a cool little menu here with drop down of our categories or date or otherwise. You actually should be able to use other widgets in here. It's just these are probably the ones that make the most sense. From here, now what we want to do is add our post links down in here in the bottom. To do that, we will be using the recipe bottom area. I'm going to go ahead and minimize that. Again, we're in our appearance and widgets, and you'll use the Genesis featured widget amplified again. So drag this over. You can use it, I guess, in theory, if you want all your posts to show up, or if you want just a certain type of post to show up, you can specify that. So on our site, what we did, like one of them was vegan. So if you were to do vegan on here, you could actually go choose which category would apply. I'll say food qualifies for vegan. I only have a couple on this demo site, but it will work for our purposes. How many posts you'd like to show? Something like 4 is usually a nice fit. And we will go to the show featured image. The thumbnail is the correct size there. I go ahead and link it to the post as well. Show post title. If you want to show any of that other info, you certainly can. And then the show category archive link would be the way to do show additional posts from that category. You could say, you know, show more from this category or something else, or like I think I do see more. Or something like see more vegan or something. If I click save now and go back to my page, it's added this vegan section as well as these 2 posts. Now that I say that, we've got more content on here than we want. What needs to be turned off here would be this content type. We're going to change this to no content and click save. So, and there we go. If we click see more, if you watch this down here in my browser, it shows the category. It's actually going to go to a category page, and it will go to something that displays like this. There are ways to kind of change this by default. I think it looks pretty nice, but if you wanted to change anything like this, you would actually do so within your Genesis settings. So I'm going to open up our Genesis tab here very quickly and scroll down to this content archives. If you want to change any details about this, this should be the place that you can do it. We can test it out just to see what happens here. I'll change it to that 450 and open this page again. And so now we've got those big images. So you could do something like that if you want. I think the defaults are pretty decent. So I don't know if there's really need to change that, but at least wanted to make you aware of that functionality. From there, going back to our recipe page here, if you wanted to add more sections, all you really do is just drag this featured widget amplified again and start again. So you could say, you know, desserts. And you do the same thing. If you want to offset any, you can, which would mean it doesn't show the previous ones displayed in other categories. You know, date is usually fine, but you have options within here if you want to do that. Link, thumbnail, show post title, no content, show category. I'll just leave that as is for now. But, and then you know, again, I would do the category or tag or whatever fits for this to only show those desserts. If I click save, we go back to this page. Now we've got this second section. So if you have a number of recipes or if you're building that up, oh, it didn't have my, my see more for whatever reason. We'll just say see more again. It's actually because I probably didn't select any category now that I say that. So let me just select uncategorize. It has nothing to actually relate to. So it's only showing this one. I don't have a featured image, but you get the idea that you can actually build this up and do different sections and section it off appropriately depending on what category you want or what fits in your for your site and recipe page. So pretty snazzy. Again, like a huge feature of this is that this is all going to be automatically updated. The first time I created a recipe page years ago, I just like manually updated it every once in a while, and it's fine and that works, but this is going to save you a ton of time, and it looks great. It's visual, it's engaging for your readers, and I think just a huge, like, I can't even, like, this is so cool that Theme is doing this. So hopefully that helps you set it up and customize it to your site.